We first started thinking about overhauling our API documentation in 2022, 2 years into building for developers. As a business building highly technical product, great developer experience is one of the measures of success for us. Sometime back in 2022, we noticed an uptick in inquiries around various products and their documentation, and while interacting with these developers to find them the information that they needed while providing assistance with their integration, we realized that our documentation may need to evolve. Before then, we had added lots of new features, and our documentation also grew as a result of that, as this was a plausible explanation for why we had that uptick. But we needed to speak to the people who interacted with our API documentation the most to get clear feedback.
So, our first goal was to identify the issues with the documentation at the time, as a first step to improving the experience. We started with feedback calls and interviews with some developers from businesses that use Mono. We wanted to understand how their most recent interactions with our documentation had gone, a rating of their experience over time, especially for developers who started to use our documentation in the earliest days. From the feedback we got, we found out that developers and product managers wanted to be able to navigate pages more easily, see information relevant to their integration at a glance, and get quicker views of what the expected outcomes of an accurate integration should be.
And this was valuable feedback.
In addition to the feedback we received, the design team looked into insights from traffic data for the documentation, and we focused our efforts on prioritizing the most used and visited product documentation pages and working with the developer experience team to get started.
We were able to identify the pages and sections of the documentation that needed the most change and optimization with clarity, code samples, better starting guides in general, from the documentation's homepage to the changelog.
We started from the very beginning with low fidelity designs. This was daunting, but also quite exciting because it wasn't just about redesigning an interface. It also meant a better experience for developers and businesses that build with Mono's APIs.
Collaborating with our content team, we also ensured that the documentation was clear enough to read. New pages got relevant copy that, apart from being correct on technical things, were also explanatory in the use cases of each API, endpoint, and feature.
The Mono documentation is an important manual for all smart engineering that we have packed into our products. So contributing to this project was exciting for me. We had requirements we needed to meet to achieve our ideal documentation experience, some of which were excellent search, seamless navigation, and even mobile responsiveness. We also worked very closely with the developer experience team to ensure that the expectation of the team and those of the developers who use Mono APIs were met.
Just like most of our projects, we broke this one down into various parts with our teammates working on each. The engineering interns were vital to this project as well. Breaking down parts of the development phase meant that we got to work hand in hand with them, assigning, guiding, and reviewing to ensure that they first understood what success meant for every developer who came across our documentation and what is required to fulfill those needs. Working with them on this project also helped us learn a lot more things. This also sped up the development process for the team.
As part of our internship project at Mono, I contributed to building the new documentation. Before now, I had never built an API documentation before. Have you?
No, this was the first for me too.
It was a great learning experience for me, contributing to something that real developers use in their own product. I got a lot of guidance with implementing important things like page hierarchy, callouts, and some parts of the navigation to make the performance better.
For me, I worked with Maven, Olamide, and Betty on optimizing the linking experience for the pages with quick links and optimizing the media asset experience with videos and images on the documentation to ensure that developers who prefer to watch rather than read walkthroughs also have a good experience using the documentation.
We are excited about the new Mono developer documentation and how we have built a faster and more interactive experience to help developers and businesses succeed with our open banking APIs and products. We hope this makes it easier for you to build truly innovative financial solutions for your users.